Hey everyone, welcome Scoundrels, and for the first time in a while it's going to be a 2x video, mainly because I had a really nice normal recording and then I realised I had a stream open the entire time, and because I don't wear headphones I didn't realise it was playing any sound, and the entire soundtrack of the original video was just this guy's stream in the background playing a new game called Wolfson. Have you guys seen it? I don't know. I'm really interested in playing it because it's like Diablo, but basically, that's why I'm doing the Pepe the Frog 2x video with a voiceover, because, yeah, classic Excoundrel, really. Hope you guys are doing well. It's Valentine's Day today. Happy Valentine's Day. I hope you are all spending it with someone you love, or if not, I hope you are having a great day by yourself. It's okay to love yourself, guys. It's okay to love yourself. Perfectly okay. So Valentine's Day doesn't just have to be about couples. It can be about loving yourself, and you should all love yourself. There you go. That's the sage advice today. So let's talk about this game. So as you might be able to tell, this was an assassin-based game. You might not be able to tell right now if you sort of weren't reading the description. You're just kind of seeing what you're seeing on your screen. I was essentially just picking up goblins at this point. I thought I had one of the worst opening starts that I've had in quite some time. But what I do want to make clear is that I leveled up to level 5 on round 5. Just to be able to make sure that I had the most protection of my HP possible. When you level up, you get an extra unit on the field. It's much more likely that you end up protecting your HP. This guy just had a 2-star swordsman. Oh my god, my phone made an absolutely ridiculously loud noise, and I'm so sorry about that. I'm just going to quickly put that on silent so we don't get that happen again. Thank you. Nice. It's on silent. So, you can see that I'm now in a situation where I've got level 5 at round 5, and we're at round 6 with 4 gold. I have got 5 gold on the bench. I said to myself, if I was going to win the next round, I'm going to sell off the 5 gold on the bench to get to 10 gold, and I do with the victory gold. Now, this is a lesson that I like to teach. I think it's one of the most important lessons that you can have. If you are not win streaking, or you're not trying to lose streak, you should attempt to get 10 gold by round 6 or round 7, just because it helps kickstart your economy, and that allows you then to use your excess gold from your economy to go on to do whatever you want. So I always recommend, I think it's one of the biggest lessons that I like to teach in auto chess, 10 gold by round 6, 7, or even 8 if you are buying a lot of units that you want. So I get an Abyssal Crawler, a Lord of Sand, and a Venom here. I don't buy the Venom just yet because I want to see if I can do that by winning the round. If I win the round, I'll buy the Venom. Now, picking up these units, I see there's one other assassin player in the lobby already with a 2-star Soulbreaker, but there's not like an excess number of assassins this game. So usually most games that I've been playing recently has been like just an unbelievable number of assassins every single game. Which is absolutely crazy. So I decided that with only one other assassin player right now, it would be a good idea to potentially run assassins here. You can see I leveled up to level 6 at round 9, and I'm still only just above 10 gold, but I have invested into building towards a build. So I've got 2 different builds on the go right now, so I'm always going to have lost a little bit of economy in this scenario. But also going to level 6 on curve. So level 6 at round 9 is what we call on curve, because you get, if you invest the experience, then you don't waste any, so you don't go like any experience over level 6. So we go to level 6 on curve. Not only does that help me protect my HP, but it also helps me get 6 units on the field ready for the stone golems, or the whatever they're called, the rock golems, who have still got Christmas hats. Apparently it's Christmas every day of the week, every month of the year for auto chess. Actually, if you've been following the auto chess subreddit, Drodo have been posting a lot on the auto chess subreddit, talking a little bit about their, the reason it's so quiet is that I was talking into the side of my microphone because my microphone turned around the wrong way. They've been talking about what they're doing. They're working on updating the models right now. The only model they've updated recently has been a Gersis Ranger. I don't know if you've noticed, but a Gersis Ranger looks really good now. I actually think they've done a really good job there. You can see I got absolutely battered by the other assassin player. However, I am slightly ahead of him in economy. One of the things that I'm trying to do when I'm not high rolling, so this is a game where I'm definitely not high rolling at the start. High rolling is what we call, if you just get the units that you want without having to spend any gold rolling for them, that's what we call high rolling. I wasn't high rolling in any way, shape, or form at the start of the game here. I was definitely middling. I didn't really have a good comp direction. I didn't really have many 2-stars. I was basically just trying to make the best of a bad situation. As you can see right here, I'm now starting to get absolutely slammed because I just don't have the 2-stars to work with. But that's okay. Like, it is perfectly okay. I find a 2-star Abyssal Crawler, which is a good start for an assassin build. Also means that I can now start to think about putting assassins on, which I've done here. I basically take off a couple of the other units and put some assassins on the field. And if I win this, I can sell the unicorn to go to 40 gold. Unfortunately, I don't win this, so we can't do that, and I get zapped right at the end there. However, we're still at, nigh on 40 gold at this point in time. So, if we just get ourselves to a good point in the economy, like by round, let's say just after round 50, we're looking at, round 15, we're looking at 50 gold, then we're going to start putting experience into levels. You can see here that I picked up a Shining Assassin. Shining Assassin is a really good unit for neutral rounds in general because it buys a lot of time. So after this round, you'll see me sort of spend that or put the Shining Assassin into the lineup. But she's also one of the most important assassins to pick up because she's a 4 cost, so she's a little bit rarer to find. But more importantly than that, she allows you to get the 3 feathered bonus once you eventually get Warpwood Sage. And you can see here I find a Warpwood Sage. I sell off the pair of the Rippers and the Skybreakers just because it's getting to the point in the game where they are not going to be useful in my composition. They're just not going to be useful, so I have to eventually think about getting rid of them. I feel pretty good with the units that I've got. Like Lord of Sand is really good versus the neutral creep rounds. Shining Assassin is really good versus the neutral creep rounds, as is Abyssal Crawler. However, my Abyssal Crawler really just wasn't critting that much, as you can see here. Even though it's got the Goblin buff, I was very lucky that it got the Goblin buff. Not really critting. And this is the first time this has ever happened to me on the new item update, or no, it's not even new now. I suppose on the before this item update, we never used to be able to choose which items that we wanted. As you can see here, I drew with the wolf round, which actually ended up me being able to choose an item. So I didn't realize if you drew a neutral round, which again is very difficult to do, you actually still get to choose the item, which is great. So you don't lose the HP and you still get to choose the item. The only drawback that happened for me right there was that I did not get an item drop from the wolves. So usually you're guaranteed 1 item drop from the wolves. I did not get that. However, I'm going to start picking up items now. I'm going to start stacking my Abyssal Crawler. He's already level 2. I don't have any shadow crawlers as of yet, so we're still in a bit of a rough spot when it comes to shadow crawlers. I did also sell off some bits to pick up an egg. The egg is going to be useful for me in the future. It's going to allow me to either invest to get towards a abyssal crawler, a shadow crawler, or maybe even, if I really need it, a razor claw. I could still use the egg on a razor claw to get a 2 or 3 star razor claw. Razor claw is a good unit in general. You may notice that I'm actually rolling quite a lot here. The reason that I'm rolling a lot is because Please pick up the razor claw. I did. Yes, thank God. The reason that I'm rolling a lot right now is because I wanted to get as many 2 stars on the board as possible. I obviously am competing with one other assassin player for a lot of the assassin pieces. So by leveling up to level 8, I actually delay some of the time that I could have been rolling against this guy for units. He's also at 50 gold, so he's also rolling for the units quite consistently. So it's important for me to continue to roll and try and find the units that that we're competing for. You can actually see here that there are 2 Venoms. I wouldn't usually take the Venoms. However, I have an egg, and I also already have a 2-star Venom. 3-star Venom is a good unit versus Hunters, versus Mages. 3-star Venom is just a really good unit. So I actually end up taking this and getting the 3-star Venom taking the extra Venoms because it is important. He's generally a good unit versus most sort of even warriors because the Venom does magic damage and also usually targets the unit with the highest attack speed and slows their attack speed. So it's pretty good versus things like Rogue Guard if it's stacked. It's pretty good against things like Berserker if it's stacked. So that's why I took the Venoms here. Wouldn't usually do it. For instance, if I just saw 1 Venom, I absolutely would not have taken just a single Venom. But because I saw 2 in one shop, I thought, well, actually it's not a bad investment to go for the Venom in this situation. And then I get a bit lucky, and I end up finding some more assassins for free on the next round. We are level 8. We have the basic core build of our assassin build right here. We have almost everything that we want, but just obviously at 1 and 2 star. We want to get these guys to 2 and 3 stars respectively. We want 3-star Abyssal Crawler, we want 3-star Shadow Crawler, we want 3-star Warpwood Sage, and also the Razor Claw. So obviously we are just waiting for that to happen. In the meantime, we can just sell off bits like Unicorn. We get a 2-star Shadow Crawler, which is fantastic, and then we end up picking up a load more stuff too. We pick up a 3-star, another 2-star Venom. Now I don't actually take the Whisper Seer here. The reason I don't take a Whisper Seer is because I don't have the rest of the druids to actually get my Warpwood Sage and my Razor Claw to 3-star. So it would be a complete waste for me to go for a Whisper Seer in this scenario, because I don't actually have the other druids right now, so it would just be sitting on my bench doing nothing for a very long time. So as you can see, I pick up quite a few more Abyssal Crawlers and Shadow Crawlers. We are actually over halfway there for both of them to be level 3, because we obviously have 5 and you need a total of 9. We also have 6 Venoms, so we are very close to finding Venom level 3 as well. So we're in a good spot. And compared to the other Assassin player, we're actually storming ahead in the Assassins that count. The Assassins that count on this update are Abyssal Crawler, which you can now see I've got to... I ended up getting it to level 2. And the other assassin that counts is the Shadow Crawler, which you can see I also got to level 2 here as well. So now we have 3 extras, and I'm actually going to roll a bit more extensively here. As you can see, I'm just essentially finding myself very close to getting some really important upgrades. So I'm very happy to spend my gold to search for those upgrades, because if I found a 3-star Venom here, if I found a 3-star Abyssal Crawler, we would be like almost certainly top 3 situation. We also end up getting the important Warpwood Sages. You can see I end up just like having to like quickly roll through everything. So we do find the Abyssal Crawler here. And now we can just take the rest of the bits back. I do it at the very last moment, by the way. It was a little bit touch and go. We do it at the very last moment. We take those bits back off the bench. We are 1 Venom away from a Venom 3-star. I don't actually think Venom 3-star is worth using the egg on. I'd rather just get it when I get it. No one else is actually going for Venom, so I should, just through natural selection, be able to find a Venom eventually. I do take the Whisper Seer here, just because it was available, but I end up selling it straight back because we didn't find the rest of the druids. I took it there just because I was rolling, and if I found 2 more Warpwood Sages, I could immediately get a level 3 Warpwood Sage. But we find the 3-star Venom naturally, which means I can save the egg for my Shadow Crawler. And as you can see, I'm starting to really pop off in these rounds now. I'm doing a really well to get sort of get through them. So there's 2 ways of that I basically look at this now. What I like to do is, now I feel like I can definitely win rounds pretty easily. I can actually save back up to a certain amount of gold and roll down. Realistically, level 8, you're just like level 8 as assassins is basically the best level you can be until you have the 3 stars that you want. So for me, my 3 stars that I want are obviously Shadow Crawler and Abyssal Crawler. So once I find Shadow Crawler level 3, then I can start thinking about saving gold to invest in levels. But right now, I can actually just save up and then roll down again. Save up and then roll down again. I obviously still need a 3-star Razor Claw. I still need a 3-star Warpwood Sage. Those will just come naturally. They are also not the core parts of the composition. They really just activate synergies and act as a sort of a pseudo frontline for me. As you can see, the synergies that they are activating are the Feathered Synergy and the Beast Synergy, so that increases the damage output that I have overall. And actually, you can still see that Abyssal Crawler is still broken. Abyssal Crawler is still a ridiculous unit. Can basically solo win you rounds. It's just the entire passive is absolutely insane. It needs a massive cooldown nerf if they want to take Abyssal Crawler off. Or the other way that I think you can fix assassins. You know the item that I've got on my Abyssal Crawler? I can never remember the name of it. It's like Shadow's Edge or something like that. You know that item that basically is a mini Axe of Fury. It deals pure damage in an area. Just get rid of that. Like, get rid of the AoE damage that unit that item gives you. Wait until getting Axe of Fury. Like, make it so that you have to have Axe of Fury to have the AoE pure damage. If you just get rid of the AoE pure damage on that little item that combines out of the staff and the lucky coin, then you're gonna solve a lot of the problems that assassins have. So you can see I've actually got quite a lot of gold right now. what I can do is essentially roll down after the Thunderhide round and look to just complete my collection of 3 stars. I gave a Frantic Mask actually over to my Shadowcrawler. Now the reason I actually gave my Shadowcrawler some items here is because she's almost level 3. So it's good to actually split the items up between my between my units, and you can see that the Wooden Club allows me to build yet another Frantic Mask for my Shadowcrawler. So actually having 2 Frantic Masks on my Shadowcrawler is good because it basically splits the damage between that and the Abyssal Crawler. Am I saving even further here? I am. I thought I was maybe going to roll down after the neutral round, but looks like, I mean, again, I am pretty confident with where I am in the game just because we are like doing incredibly well. Well, there's Razorclaw. I am pretty confident about where we are in the game because we're just doing incredibly well in terms of units. And you can see now I've got eggs coming out. I managed to get the 3-star Shadowcrawler. I get the Warpwood Sage. I get another Razorclaw, and I can actually use the egg on the Warpwood Sage as well, but I actually use it on the Shining Assassin, which is also good. Using the egg on the Shining Assassin is fine because that'll get me a 2-star Shining Assassin, which is a pretty solid defensive upgrade as well because Shining Assassin buys a lot of time. And you can see how strong I've become just from all of those upgrades. Yeah, I rolled down for it, but it's perfectly okay. So I just need 1 Warpwood Sage, but actually I just use the egg here. Now the reason I use the egg is because I only lose 2 gold by using the egg on the Warpwood Sage, and actually it gives me the 3-star. I wasn't going to use the egg on anything else this game. I am nowhere near to 3 stars on any of my other units, so I'm just never going to use the egg on anything else. So it was just the last best unit that I could use the egg on to give myself an immediate power upgrade. So now we're at the stage in the late game where the other assassin just gets beaten out, and it's essentially me versus warrior players. And this is kind of the whole point in the video. I have got a very stacked assassin composition. I've got a pretty good Abyssal Crawler. I've got a pretty good Shadow Crawler at level 3. I've got a 3-star Venom, 3-star Razorclaw, 3-star Warpwood Sage. I'm still struggling to beat warrior players. And they're not all playing 9 warriors. One of the guys is playing like a 6 warrior stacked rogue guard composition. I'm still struggling to beat warriors. I mean, you look at this Creeks here. I'm only just getting, I just got beaten by him, and Vicky's playing a 9 warrior build. Warriors are insanely good versus assassins. I have got like, almost like most people would say, you'd look at this build and say, this is 100% a 1 game. Like you are getting first place no matter what happens. Right now, I am struggling to beat the warrior players in this lobby. Like they are doing a really good job. I do get Axe of Fury, which will obviously help. I actually think in this scenario, if I had stacked a Shadowcrawler instead with more armor and gave her Axe of Fury, I probably would end up doing better. But obviously, you can't really predict like who you're going to end up against in the late game, and it is safer. And I will say this, it is always safer to stack Abyssal Crawler, just because Abyssal Crawler is a safe assassin because they regenerate health. With Shadow Crawler, she could get CC'd, she could get locked down. It's definitely more risky to stack your Shadow Crawler. She's also harder to 3-star, so you never really know if you're going to get your 3-star Shadow Crawler or not. So it's always safer to 3-star an Abyssal Crawler because it's a 2-cost unit. It has the ability to regenerate HP. It can avoid attacks completely with its ability. So in general, it's better. But when you're going up against warriors, if you give some armor, some Frantic Masks, and then an Axe of Fury to your Shadowcrawler, that's almost always going to be better because she'll deal more damage and she'll deal more pure damage in an area. So yeah, basically I'm now struggling to beat the warrior players. I'm kind of getting through them. It depends on luck. It's definitely coming down to if I'm getting the right crits. But this is the 9 warrior player, for instance. Look how long it takes, even for my 3-star Shadowcrawler, to get through a 2-star Axe. They've also got a regen, a refresh orb on their pirate captain, so the extra CC is making it difficult as well. I'm losing to a 9 warrior composition that doesn't really have that many like 3 stars in their comp. That's how good 9 warriors is versus assassins. I'm struggling with a ridiculously stacked, in terms of unit levels, assassin composition to beat warriors. Warriors are just absolutely mincing me for the most part. You can see, you know, I'm probably going to win this one, but not by much. I mean, that guy doesn't really have any 3 stars in his lineup. And you can see at me now actually beating Vicky out ever so slightly, but it's still close. Like, it's still really close. And I have to get lucky in general to win my matchups with people. So you're going up against the Glacier clan here. I don't think anybody's going to struggle beating the Glacier clan. There's 9 warrior, obviously. There's the guy playing 6 warriors with Beast and then some Cave clan. I think he's just running I don't know why he's running a random Storm Shaman. Maybe just because he was dealing with the mages earlier. I don't get too many crazy item upgrades. Like, Mysterio Staff isn't particularly good. I don't think Orb of Refresh is like a game changer on Abyssal Crawler. I don't think Orb of Refresh is a game changer at all on Abyssal Crawler. I do think that the Infused Mask, which reduces armor when you hit people, is obviously going to be very good versus warriors, so I assumed that I was going to be in a better spot. But this 9 warrior player here, just watch. I get crushed. They've got a 3-star werewolf now, of course, but absolutely 100% crushed. And I lose the game from 9 warriors. So I get top 3, but it's still very close. But 9 warriors is insane versus assassins. If you want to beat assassins, 9 warrior is the way to go. He didn't even really have that crazy of a comp apart from a 3-star werewolf, but everything else is pretty standard. So 9 warriors, guys, if you want to beat assassins, it's the way to do it as well. It's an awesome build.